Welcome to Paranormal Stories Part 6. If you missed Part 5, I highly recommend you check it out on my profile before watching this one. This is a story about the time I had a fallen angel attached to me. So, this occurred in 2021. I had gone into the city about an hour away to meet someone for lunch. And towards the end of our visit, she told me how the night before she woke up to a fallen angel on top of her strangling her. And so I was like, okay, because she had temporarily moved into an apartment. So I was like, okay, well, I got to go up there and, spread some good mojo around the room, set up some protection energetically, this kind of stuff, right? So we went up however many floors it was. And when we got there, she pointed towards the room and the door was open. And for me, just looking in that room, it was somewhat terrifying. It was, even though it was in the middle of the daytime, it was dark in the room. And, I was expecting, like, okay, there's been a fallen angel in this room. Like, is it still in there? Like, what's going on, kind of thing, right? And so I inched towards it and I pushed the door open and I turned on the light. And the next thing that happened was it kind of makes me laugh, to be honest, because I was just like, what is going on here? So I started to think about how I was going to enter this room, right? But before I could even do anything, the next thing I know, it was like I was put on autopilot. I turned my back to the front of this door. I put my hands up like this and I started walking in backwards. And my conscious brain was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, in my opinion, the last way to enter a room where you're suspecting a fallen angel to be is backwards with your hands up, right? But what I didn't realize at that time was that my higher self, they were all a part of this. I was placing myself in a state of surrender to have this fallen angel attached to me so I could see what the bottom of the bottom feels like and make a decision on what team I was on, right? And shortly after this happened, I did my thing. But shortly after this happened, I was just like, hey, I gotta go. I could feel something take over me. And this was a long drive home. But when I got home, I sat in my chair from roughly 5:30 in the evening and I did not move. But during that time, it was like every muscle in my body was flexing. And I started having just all these wicked thoughts, images of flames and this earth burning and, all this gnarly shit, all this pain I went through. And it was like every muscle in my body was flexing for 18 hours. And I started sweating like it was a mess. The best ways that I could describe that was that I remember experiencing something where it was like the purest part of me felt like it was pushed inside my body to one side where all this other crazy shit was going on, and I was terrified of experiencing this energy that I was feeling. And throughout this experience, there was multiple times where the anger got so bad I actually mentally became concerned about spontaneous human combustion. I actually was like, am I going to erupt in flames here? Like, that's an actual concern that I had. And it got to the point where I absolutely had no energy and I was just hunched over side of my chair and I basically cried out that I can't take this anymore. And that's when the energy of Jesus came in, swooshed this thing away from me. I've had discussions about this experience and some of the things I heard. Apparently, I had reached the seventh or bottom, or I don't know if there's 7 or 9 layers to hell, but I had basically reached one of the bottom levels of hell. And another intuitive friend told me that I'm very lucky to have been able to turn back to the light after going that far into the darkness. The interesting thing about this experience is when I look back on my healing journey, I see how much it's helped me because any time since that's happened, anytime something's made me angry, I'm like, okay, where that path leads and where are we focused? Where are we trying to go? Let's go 12D, Jesus Christ consciousness kind of thing, right? Learned a valuable lesson from that experience. Definitely one of my craziest paranormal stories. Hit that like, give me a follow, stay tuned for the next one.